pounds in Class A. Nate Hoeft, an unbeaten junior from Millard North, faces Vito Agosta, the number 1 ranked senior, 27-2 from Omaha Central. In Class B, Aaron Danner, 34-3, a senior from Ashland, Greenwood, pairs up against Chad Paisley of Aurora, who's 29-3, a senior. In Class C, unbeaten Zach Lanka, 32-0 junior from Ainsworth, faces DJ Lyon, the upset king, 31-7, a junior. And in Class D, we have Dirk Desmond, a sophomore, 33-1, state champion a year ago, and Justin McBride, a 4-time medalist at 23-5 from Mullen. Great matchup in Class D, number 1 against number 2, Dirk Desmond from Hebron. And I know my mother-in-law, who's helped out and allowed me to come to this tournament, is home cheering for Dirk Desmond today because she's from Hebron and helped out with our newborn child, so I could be here at the state tournament. So she's rooting on Dirk Desmond.
I think there's a lot of people rooting on Dirk Desmond. He's one of those wrestlers we talked about in the opening. He got first last year as a freshman. He's got a chance to become a 4-timer if he's able to pull off a victory here tonight, and he'll come just a little bit closer.
And Desmond's only loss this year was to the young man we just saw, Chris Mays. Chris Mays came up a weight class because he hadn't been challenged all year and said, I want to wrestle somebody good. Came up and wrestled Desmond. Desmond lost to him by just 2 points.
Yeah, that was a heck of a match.
And Dirk right now is one of those guys we're looking at, could possibly be a 4-time state champion, but boy, he has his hands full with Justin McBride, ranked number 2, 23-5 senior from Mullen. Desmond's father, Dan, is his coach, and Dan, a 2-time champion at Cambridge. And Dan told me that Dirk's goal is to beat his dad's record there of 2. So he wants to get 3, but he's got his work cut out for it. Some pretty exciting action in Class C as we have our first score there as Zach Lanka, the unbeaten junior from Ainsworth, leading DJ Lyon. DJ Lyon has been something else in this tournament. He knocked off number 1 ranked and former state champion Roderick Boss of David City in the quarters, and then beat number 2 unbeaten Jason Sturrock of Alcorn Valley. So DJ Lyon, whose brother MJ is a state champion.
Brother was
last
a 2-time state champion, as a matter of fact.
Again, DJ from Rushville.
That win over Roderick Boss, probably one of the biggest wins in the Class C tournament this weekend, without a doubt. No score in Class B between Aaron Danner of Ashland Greenwood and Chad Paisley, another Aurora Husky. Takedown by Vito Agosta from Central in Class A over Nate Hoeft of Millard North. Then he allows Hoeft to get the escape. Oh! Big throw on the edge, but no points awarded.
Hoeft again coming out unbeaten. 25-0 junior from Millard North, and those two are locked up in a good one.
Both those wrestlers 2-time medalists as well. Vito Agosta placing 6th last year, 4th the year before. Nate Hoeft placing 3rd twice. And I know he'd like to add a state title to his resume.
Again, no score yet in Class B or Class D. We have a 4-1 score now in Class C as Zach Lanka of Ainsworth has taken the 4-1 lead over DJ Lyon of Rushville. So DJ really has his work cut out for him here as he's on the bottom with the orange and black singlet if he wants to pull another big upset. I wonder if that crossed Zach Lanka's mind at all. It almost had to.
You've always got to be a little bit careful against a guy like DJ Lyon. He's really fluky. He's throwing guys from here. You just don't know what he's going to actually do. And that type of wrestler can be really difficult to go out against because he just does so much unorthodox technique. So you really got to be careful.
I was talking to Mark Loosefeld, who's covering Rushville, and whose son we'll see later on is an undefeated wrestler, and he said that DJ never pays attention who he's wrestling. So who you wrestling? I don't know. He doesn't have any idea. He just blocks it out, goes out and wrestles.
That's a really good attitude to have. I commend him on that one. 2-2 in Class A now with Nate Hoeft getting an escape here in the beginning of the second period.
We have a 1-0 lead for Chad Paisley of Aurora over Aaron Danner of Ashland Greenwood. Danner was a state runner-up a year ago at 119 and a state runner-up at 106 pounds 2 years ago. So Danner with a lot of state tournament experience. Paisley placed 3rd at 125 last year. And now a 2-0 lead in Class D for Dirk Desmond of Hebron. Number 1 ranked coming into this match, facing number 2 ranked Justin McBride, and they're just toward the end of the first period in Class D with Desmond leading it 2-0.
Still 2-2 in Class A between Agosta and Hoeft of Millard North. Hoeft beat Agosta 8-6 this year at the Metro Conference Tournament earlier in the year. So that's probably going to be a close one over there as well, as it is right now, 2-2. In Class C, it looks like Zach Lanka has extended his lead now 6-1 over DJ Lyon, but like we kept saying, don't count him out because you don't know what DJ Lyon's ever going to do.
When you have somebody who's a pinner, they are always in the match when that's their specialty, and that is what DJ Lyon likes to do, or at least he likes to get a lot of back points. In Class A now, we're still tied at 2-2 between Nate Hoeft and Vito Agosta. Agosta from Omaha Central, Hoeft from Millard North. In Class B, we have a score of 1-0 with Chad Paisley of Aurora with the black singlet, still leading Aaron Danner of Ashland Greenwood, who's in the blue singlet.
There's a takedown. There's a takedown in Class A, and a pin by Zach Lanka of Ainsworth over DJ Lyon.
So Lanka finishes unbeaten at 33-0, a junior. He'll have a shot to win another title next year. And DJ Lyon, also a junior, he'll finish at 31-8. So we have a champion now in Class C.
In Class A, Nate Hoeft has jumped out to a 4-2 lead as the second period comes to an end. No change there. A little bit of a scramble, and they broke free from each other, but Hoeft able to hang on as the time runs out.
You know, those two are very aggressive wrestlers. We could easily have a possibility of a pin, just the fact that they're both very aggressive. They don't lay back. In Class B, it's still 1-0. Paisley leading Danner. Paisley from Aurora, Danner from Ashland Greenwood. In Class D, it's now 2-1. Dirk Desmond hanging on to a 1-point lead over Justin McBride of Mullen.
There's a warning on Chad Paisley of Aurora for stalling. Official felt that he wasn't doing his best to bring Aaron Danner back down to the mat. Aaron Danner is one of these wrestlers that just seems to get up every year for the state tournament. He's placed second here twice. I'm sure he doesn't want to go home a bridesmaid again this year. So
in Class D, it's Desmond on the bottom, leading it 2-1. They both have black singlets on, so it's hard to distinguish them sometimes. But it's Desmond who has the red band and Justin McBride with the green band. McBride from Mullen, and now Desmond gets the escape and goes up 3-1. Here in the second period with 1:30 to go. And in Class A, we had some action going on there. As it looks, we had some back points scored by Vito, I think.
No, that's Nate Hoeft.
Got him another way around.
Getting 2-point near fall. That extends his lead to 7-3. But in the meantime, Vito Agosta looks like he injured his knee in that situation. He'll have 2 minutes to recover. If not, he'll have to forfeit the match. Still 1-0 in favor of Chad Paisley of Aurora. No, they gave an escape there to Aaron Danner on the edge. We're tied up 1-1 now with a minute to go.
Boy, B is going to really be a dogfight to the end there because, as you mentioned, Danner really wrestles well in this tournament. Paisley from Aurora ranked number 2 coming into this match. Danner was ranked number 5.
I think that's going to be a match that's going to come down to who wants to get the takedown worst, because if they don't do it in this next minute and 5, somebody's going to have to do it in overtime.
Dirk Desmond having a bloody nose, and that can be a real problem because it used to be you could always had all the time you wanted to recover from a blood situation, but nowadays they give you, I think, a cumulative time of 5 minutes, and if you don't get the bleeding stopped, you lose, because there's always been a concern about blood, of course. And it used to be they'd give you all the time you needed to get that, but not anymore. So sometimes a bloody nose can really be a tough thing. But Desmond now has taken a 5-1 lead over Justin McBride of Mullen with 1:15 to go in the second period there. They're in the third period over in Class B.
Official Bill Emsick thought Dirk Desmond just got on a little too aggressively to start the period back again and cautioned him for a false start there.
We're tied at 1 in Class B between Aaron Danner and Chad Paisley. Still a stoppage for an injury in Class A with Nate Hoeft of Millard North leading Vito Agosta of Omaha Central 10-3, and Agosta is the one who's still on the mat.
Looks like it wasn't a knee, it was actually an ankle. They just taped it up over the shoe. He's pretty sensitive on that. Chad Paisley in on a single leg takedown. Aaron Danner doing everything they can to fight it off. No points awarded. 26 seconds to go in Class B. Still tied at 1 apiece.
And it looks like they're going to try to wrestle again in Class A. So Agosta will give it his best, trailing at 10-3 from Nate Hoeft of Millard North. In Class B, it's still tied up at 1-1 with just 12 seconds. It looks like we're going to overtime. We're still in the second period in Class D between Desmond and McBride, and Dirk Desmond leading at 5-2. Desmond from Hebron. a state champion a year ago at 112. McBride from Mullen.
There's an escape in Class A for Vito Agosta and a 1-point penalty for locking hands against Nate Hoeft. That makes the score 10-5. At least it's within reach now for Vito Agosta. Nate Hoeft having to do everything he can, stay aggressive. We're in overtime in B, 1-1. Again, it's a 2-minute sudden death overtime. First wrestler to score wins. All warnings for stalling do carry over. There's a shot attempt by Chad Paisley. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to finish that. Another takedown in Class A by Nate Hoeft. He extends his lead now to 12-5. There's a takedown by Aaron Danner.
Danner of Ashland Greenwood, the state champion, as he wins it 3-1 in overtime. Danner will finish as a senior state champion at 35-3. And Paisley of Aurora, an outstanding wrestler, will be the state runner-up as he finishes at 29-4. He's a senior. So a tough loss for Chad Paisley. Great victory for Danner. Meanwhile, in Class D, it looks like the blood situation again for Dirk Desmond. And this, I would think, starts to become a concern for his dad, Dan Desmond, because, again, you have to get that bleeding stopped.
Yeah, I think they're probably getting close somewhere to around 2 minutes now of using his blood time.
And it's now tightened up in that match. Desmond was leading at 5-1. Now it's 5-3. Desmond leading over Justin McBride as they are in the third period with 1:46 to go. And we've now finished in Class A. The state champion is Nate Hoeft.
With a 12-5 victory over Vito Agosta of Omaha Central. Great match. Nate Hoeft able to complete an undefeated season at 26-0, and he's just a junior. He'll be back again next year.
That to go along with 2 third-place finishes, so he's medaled 3 times. Now the only match left, Class D, with 1:44 to go in the third period. 5-3, Dirk Desmond of Hebron leading Justin McBride. Again, Desmond with that black singlet, and you can see the Hebron kind of on his back a little bit. McBride has a black singlet with the gold trim. That'll kind of distinguish him for you a little bit, as it's 5-3, Desmond leading it. Desmond, a state champion last year at 112. McBride has placed 3 times prior to this, so he'll be a 4-time medalist, but he wants a state championship. He's placed 4th, 5th, and 4th.
Nice single leg shot by Desmond. Minute 13. If he can finish this, that'll extend his lead to 4 points. Just about a minute ago. Nice. He switches off to a double, taking McBride down, extends his lead to 7-3 with less than a minute to go, in hopes of winning his second state title. And he, like we said earlier, he's just a sophomore.
I know it amazes me that his dad Dan looks so calm over there. He hasn't really got that excited during the match, and I know he's a pretty emotional guy, but he stayed pretty calm, and it looks like his son Dirk Desmond's going to pick up his second straight state title as he leads at 7-3 with just 39 seconds remaining. Well, now that's still some time left for Justin McBride, though.
When your son's 63-2 over his 2-year career, I guess it's pretty easy to be somewhat relaxed in the corner.
And there'll be another wrestler from Hebron coming up a little later on, one of the teammates to Dirk Desmond.
There's a 1-point escape for Justin McBride. That makes the score 7-4, still within reach for Justin McBride. Desmond can't make any mistakes and give up any big moves.
20 seconds to go in the match. All the other matches finished in this weight class. Desmond really good on his feet. I think that's a real advantage for him.
He's just from what I've seen of him in the tournament so far, he's just a solid wrestler at all aspects. But like you said, most definitely on his feet.
And now it's 7-5 as Desmond just about had a takedown at the end of the match, but he was a stalling point was given to McBride and made it 7-5. So Desmond wins it in a tight one, 7-5 by decision, and he is a 2-time state champion, a sophomore at 34-1, and he'll still have his hope alive as a 4-time state champion. We'll see how he does.
You know, I hate to keep mentioning it, but we talked about it in the opening, those 5 freshmen and that sophomore that hope to keep their string alive of state championships in hopes that they can make it 4 in a row. That's a long ways down the road. I hate to be too optimistic about those, but...
Okay, let's take a look now. Your state champions at 130 pounds. First of all, in Class A, it's Nate Hoeft of Millard North winning the state title with a 12-5 decision over Vito Agosta of Omaha Central. In Class B, Aaron Danner, the state champ from Ashland Greenwood, a 3-1 overtime winner over Chad Paisley of Aurora. In Class C, unbeaten Zach Lanka of Ainsworth wins by pin over DJ Lyon of Rushville. And in Class D, Dirk Desmond of Hebron, a 7-5 decision winner over Justin McBride of Mullen. Now let's take a look at the